Hey, everybody. Today I want to talk about how pissed off I am at the Democrats. I kind of did my walk away thing, but I still have the same values that the Democrats used to have. So I still want to root for them. I want them to come back to the way they were. So I still want to kind of root for them. But boy, am I pissed off right now. I think that this just kind of broke something for me. I don't know. Yeah, these Democrats in Washington need to be voted the F out. Some of them are really too old to be there. But I'm pissed off about them blocking these bills. Their big complaint is with the GOP bill is that it's got too much money for big business they're not going to be held accountable for, or whatever. They were calling it a slush fund. They didn't like it, so they blocked it. And they come back the next day with a 1,400-page bill of their own. I think this was the second time that it got blocked. 1,400 pages. How'd you come up with 1,400 pages so quick? They had been writing that for quite a while. And they want all kinds of stuff that's completely unrelated to the stimulus bill. The money for the big business, whether or not you agree with how it's being handled, is at least related to the stimulus bill. So that's, the Democrats want tighter regulation on airplane emissions. Really? They want to bring back Obama phones, where taxpayer dollars pay cell phone bills every month for poor people. They want subsidies for wind and solar. And then they want, for big business, they're going to require diversity teams and diversity management teams. And they're going to have diversity quotas. That just, to me, is totally not acceptable. None of it is, because none of it's related. But the diversity management shit, really? That stuff doesn't work. At least I want to say it was Dr. Peterson that was talking about or somebody, where they found that diversity training, sensitivity training doesn't work. But yet they want all this crap that has nothing to do. They're trying to sneak all their Green New Deal stuff in there. And dude, leave that alone. That thing is that Bill Ocasio-Cortez, whatever, she wrote it. No airplane travel, yeah, she's ridiculous. The whole Green New Deal thing is ridiculous. And they've been trying to sneak it into all kinds of stuff. And that's pissing me off too, because I don't think anybody wants that stuff. I know big business doesn't want to have diversity management teams, unless they're an SJW type of company. I worked at one of those. So from my understanding now, the Republican bill's been struck down twice. I don't think it's been 3 times. I think, and now today they're going to vote on one that's, I guess, going to be like a combination. It's a $2 trillion emergency bill to rush aid to businesses, workers, and the healthcare system. It would give direct payments to most Americans, expand unemployment benefits, and provide a $367 billion program, billion with a B, for small businesses to keep making payroll while their workers are forced to stay at home. The $500 billion for subsidized loans, and these are going to be loans to the big business. I believe it's just grants to small business, a program. It doesn't say it's a loan. So they're doing subsidized loans for the larger industry, so they're going to pay it back. If I remember correctly, when they, did that thing with the banks back in 08 or 09, they paid that money back pretty quickly. So hopefully the big business would too. And then there's a bit of a fight over how much money they want to go to the airlines. There's a disconnect between the two sides on that. And the hospitals would get a significant help, it says. The package would give one-time direct payments to Americans, $1,200 per month, or per adult, making up to $75,000 a year, and $2,400 to a married couple, making up to $150,000 a year, and $500 per child. It's going to have a huge cash infusion for hospitals because of the expected flood of COVID-19 patients. During the talk, Republicans are pressing for tens of billions of dollars for additional relief to be delivered through the FEMA, the lead federal disaster agency. The Democrats' package would help replace the salaries of furloughed workers for 4 months rather than the 3 months first proposed. Furloughed workers would get whatever amount a state usually provides for unemployment, plus a $600 per week add-on. And gig workers like Uber drivers are going to be covered for the very first time. I think that's a good deal because they kind of get screwed when it comes to things like this. Schumer announced that businesses controlled by members of Congress and people like Trump and his family would not be eligible for assistance from these loans or investments by the Treasury Department. And then there's another thing that's kind of going on for me about this COVID-19 that really not sure how I feel about this situation. A lot of places are releasing their prisoners, nonviolent, low-level offenders, I guess, because reform campaigners say prisoners face unique risks due to lack of hygiene in overcrowded cells and hallways, and handcuffed people cannot cover their mouths when they cough or sneeze. And sinks often lack soap, and hand sanitizer is contraband due to its alcohol content. Makes sense. Also makes it harder for these inmates to keep themselves sanitized away from this virus. Wisconsin prisons stopped accepting new prisoners at least a week ago. So all the people who have been sentenced to prison have to stay in the county jail for right now, whatever county jail they're in. A lot of places don't send that many people to prison that often, so it's not going to bother their jail or whatever, not make it overcrowded. But some places, like Milwaukee County, that's huge. That's a huge jail. It's really crowded. So, I can see them getting backed up and really overcrowded because they send a lot of people to the prisons every week. It's usually like one day a week. A van comes and picks people up and takes them to the prison they've been sentenced to. Some places are releasing their prisoners. Cuyahoga County in Ohio released quote unquote hundreds. And it may have been the Cuyahoga County, but there was another place has been doing special plea deals for people to not have jail time, so that they don't have to put them in the jail and worry about them being, non-hygienic in there. That really kind of bothers me. That really actually bothers me because that's not fair to prisoners who may have committed the same crime in a similar situation. It's not fair that they would have gotten more time, or in future may get more time, and these people get less time just because there's this pandemic. I don't think that's fair. You don't have to send them to serve their time right away. You can have them start their time in a couple of months. They can already be sentenced. I know of that. People all the time, I got to report to, not people all the time, but I've heard people say, I got to report to jail on such and such day. I actually had to report to jail on such and such day at one time. But, I'm really torn about this. And then federal agencies are putting off most arrests and deportations during this crisis. And I'll only agree with that if they're doing that to protect the federal officers because of, not wanting them to have contact with too many people. And I'm assuming that's why they're doing it. Maybe they're doing it to protect the illegal migrants, illegal immigrants, whatever they call them, illegal aliens as the law calls them. So I'm not sure how I really feel about that. I guess I'm like Tim Pool. Maybe I'm a milquetoast fence sitter myself, because I really don't know how I feel about that. On one hand, you can't have people all cramped up in a space where this thing is just going to run rampant like it did at that nursing home in Washington. I guess some of the places are just releasing the most at-risk prisoners, probably elderly people or, people who've got underlying diseases. So, like I said, I'm not really sure how I feel about that. Because it's not fair, but at the same time, we can't let the jails and prison systems become overrun with this, because they're not going to have the equipment to deal with prisoners, being that sick. And to take them to a hospital outside of the prison, they'd have to have guards, I would imagine, and 24 hours a day having somebody there, and they have to pay that person who could be guarding several people, and now they're just, one-on-one with this person, so they have, it starts to, it would start to cost them a lot of money, and it would be a nightmare. Because prison medical centers or hospitals are not equipped to deal with, anything serious like that. And who would want a prison doctor to? I always think, man, it couldn't hack it in the real world. So you go to prison, go to get a job as a prison doctor. I don't know if I would trust them or not, but it would just completely destroy, the prison system, and a lot of people would probably die, and that's not cool either. Maybe there's a few people in there that deserve the death penalty, but somebody who's in there for, having possession of pot or even other drugs, that they don't deserve to die or be stuck in a tight prison cell with people who are hacking and coughing and trying to give them the virus. So, torn on that one. But if it's to protect the officers on the federal agency thing, I'm down with it, because, we can't be sending them out, putting them in contact with people constantly. If these people are not committing other crimes to be arrested for, they can wait. They can wait to be deported until, the worst of this is over. So that one's not that bad. But these people getting special plea deals because of the virus, no bueno. It's not fair. I've done some time in jail, and I bet you if I was in jail right now, I'd be so stoked, be like, I need to get out because of the virus. Let me out early. So I know I'd definitely be all for it then. So that's kind of funny, actually. I don't know if I mentioned already, Wisconsin prisons are not accepting new prisoners. From what I understand, a doctor at Dodge Correctional, one of the prisons in Waupun, either Waupun Correctional or Dodge Correctional, one of the prison doctors tested positive. And then in Portage, at, I believe it's Columbia Correctional Prison in Portage, I think that's Columbia County, an inmate there has tested positive. So it's already in the prison system. So I think they made a good decision to not accept any more prisoners just yet. They're in county jails. They can sit where they're at. I don't know about you guys, but this has been, super hard on me the last couple of weeks. All the anxiety. I have a severely immune compromised mother. I moved back here from California last year to live with her because, she may not have much long. Well, and totally not related to the virus because she's had a fungal infection in her lungs for quite some time. And I'm not sure if it's the infection that messes her up once in a while or if it's the medication, because the medication has caused problems. She's been on 3 different ones now. But anyway, she's immune compromised. And last week she ended up in the hospital. And Friday night she was on like a CPAP mask that was kind of forcing her air into her. She had fluid in her lungs, and they were talking about intubating her. And that's just kind of like, that's the end. So do you really want to do that? And the hospital was having 1 visitor a day kind of thing going on. And then Saturday morning, after, we were afraid she was not going to make it through Friday night, Saturday morning we woke up and the hospital's not allowing any visitors now. So we spent several days now like really wondering what's going on, and nurses aren't calling back. And I kind of almost feel like I'm experiencing what it would be like to have a loved one kind of go through it, just because she's going through this other part. And it's got to be really frustrating for anybody who's in the hospital to not be able to have visitors and things like that, because, oh God, it's got to be so lonely. My mom was really lonely when she finally, came to. And I don't know if it's because of the virus, but I think they let her out of the hospital. My dad and I both think they let her out of the hospital too soon. We've only got 1 confirmed case of somebody testing positive in my county. Wisconsin, I believe, has how many? Where's the real time? Wisconsin's got 457 cases, 5 deaths, and 1 recovered. So, it's not too bad here, and we're right on the state line. Oof. Illinois has 1,535 cases, 16 deaths, and 2 recovered. Illinois went on like the kind of harder lockdown before Wisconsin did. We just got our safer at home kind of order / suggestion that went into effect yesterday. So only essential, grocery stores, pharmacies, everything, all the bars and restaurants have been closed down, only allowed to do delivery or pickup. So totally lost my, so, we're not going anywhere. But my mom still has to go. She just went up to the hospital to get some medication that they have to give her at the hospital. But that, then she's back at the hospital being exposed. So yeah, I really worry about her. I was so worried about bringing the virus home to her, and then she got sick, either from this fungal infection or from the medication from it. And then stressed out because we couldn't see her. Getting bored at home. I'm going to tell you, really bored at home. Can't stop watching coverage of this corona stuff and the updates or whatever, press conferences that the president and Dr. Fauci and them have been having every day. Can't stop watching those. right now, while I'm talking on this video, they may be voting. I'm not sure when they're supposed to vote in the House. And hopefully the Democrats, at least a few of them, will vote for this Republican bill and get it through, because Trump's going to sign it. He's been saying he wants this. This is basically everything he said he wanted. Money for individual people, money for small business, and money for big business. Make sure everybody can, keep their heads above water, so to speak. So, yeah, it's been pretty stressful. And it's really annoying, all these people that are posting, all these different things that they're doing at home. Some of it's probably cute, but it's like, just do your stuff. You don't have to post it online and show off what you're doing. But I guess they're having fun. Doesn't matter. I'm judgmental. And I should shut up. Yeah, I just lost my train of thought. But yeah, I'm taking this seriously. I'm staying home. I hope everybody else is. Stay 6 feet away. Wash your hands. Cover your mouth when you cough and sneeze. All that kind of stuff. Don't touch your face. Don't touch your face. I saw a meme that showed, the things I learned last week. It was a pie chart and a little bitty thing, what the coronavirus was, and this about the thing and this, and then the great big section of it was, I learned that I really like to touch my fucking face or something like that. Can't stop touching my face. Yeah, never realized how much. Had you realized how much you touch your face until they told you not to? Yeah. Part of me wants to be rebellious and be like, screw you, I'm gonna go do what I want, but I don't want to get sick, so I guess it's which is it? Are they violating my rights, or am I choosing to stay home because it's safer? Well, they're not saying I have to stay home, and they're not welding me into my house like the Chinese were doing. Jesus. And if you believe anything they're saying about this virus, I got a bridge I'll sell you. They've lied right from the start. They knew about this a long time ago. I mean, it was arrested or something, the doctor that first spilled the beans about it. Apparently he got it and has passed away now. But they made him sign something saying, no, this isn't true, and I lied. And then after it couldn't be hidden anymore, then the Chinese were like, oh, we're sorry, here's a pardon or whatever it was. Like, oops, our bad. We've made you a criminal and just humiliated you in front of everybody. But yeah, I'm not a word the Chinese say. This is their fault. Like, I think we should, as a nations around the world, every country that's been affected by this needs to sue the Japanese or the Chinese. I mean, I don't know if you can sue a country. I don't know what court would that be in and how would it be enforced, but man, they should have to pay for, all this stimulus bill that they're talking about right now in Washington, whatever the bill is that gets passed. It is a lot of money that's going, out of the government's pocket, out of our taxes. Yeah, again, lost my train of thought. That happens to me quite a bit, I guess. Probably because I ramble. I forget what I'm talking about. Yeah, we've got, Wisconsin's got 457 confirmed. Don't know where they're at. There's only one in my county, or a couple in my county, one in the next county over. There's quite a few in Dane County, which is right next to me. my husband and I have still been going out for drives. We like to go out and we just moved back here after living in California for 10 years, and now there's eagles that come down this far south. So we've been like, oh my God, eagles, I gotta go see them. So we found a couple of nests. We go and check up, see if they're there quite often, and go riding around looking for deer. There's a place that's like a little animal sanctuary, I think it's near Durand, Illinois, where there's deer. Like, it's a huge fenced-in area. It's got like a little pond with an island in the middle of it that the deer swim out to and I guess eat or whatever. So we like to do that, but we're still, staying our 6 feet away from people. The biggest thing is if we stop and get gas and go in and get, like a nice tea or a snack or something. Went into one gas station and the guy behind the counter wouldn't touch the items. You had to hold him up so he could do the little scanner thing. And then after every customer, he was putting on hand sanitizer. I told him he was very smart. Like, whatever you got to do to keep from, getting the cooties, as I've been calling it. And I feel for all the people that have to still work. Grocery store workers have been deemed essential. And they're out there, with hundreds of people coming through the store every day. Everybody's touching everything. So I feel bad for them. The healthcare workers, everybody who's exposed to a lot of people because of their job. That really sucks. And I hope they come up with a vaccine real soon. But I think I'm starting to ramble, and that's probably not a good thing. So I think I'm gonna wrap it up. I think I put a couple too many topics all in one video. It's all the way up to 27 minutes, good Lord. Yeah, I talk way too much. So I'm just waiting to hear if this bill passes this afternoon. By the time my video uploads, we might already know. Man, if the Democrats block this, I'm gonna be so mad and not be able to do a damn thing about it and just sit here and be mad. Yeah, they need to vote some of these Democrats out. They're ridiculous. They're sabotaging our country just to stick it to Trump. And that's ridiculous. What's the saying? Cutting off your nose to spite your face. Yeah, well, they're cutting off all our noses, not just their own. I think this whole blocking the package and the way Trump's been handling this, like, he's saying some things that he probably shouldn't be saying, too optimistic and contradicting the doctors a little bit here and there, but I think he's done a really good job with this. Here I am rambling again, but I've decided that unless something changes, I'm definitely voting for Trump come November. I've been, again, on that fence because I don't like him, his personality, but I'm appreciative of what he's doing right now. I think even CNN said he is the right guy for the job. So we'll see what happens. If you've made it all the way this far, thank you very much for listening to me ramble. I don't have any I don't really have subscribers, so I don't have a Patreon or nothing like that, but I'm going to put my PayPal down in the description if you'd like to send me $1 or something for a tip for me taking my time to waste your time by rambling. That would be awesome. But yeah, I'm going to shut up now and hope you have a good day. Stay safe. Stay away from people. Wash your hands. Don't touch your face.